Welcome back, my friends. I want to talk today about feeling down. How many of you are feeling down these days, or maybe from the last 4 or 5 days? Some people are saying it's due to solar flares. I was not into it. I'm more just into sensing energy and talking about it. And I've been noticing that for the last 4 days, I've been feeling very hard energy, like deep negative thoughts, feeling more negatively, having much harder time to put myself into like a peak state sometimes. When I get myself into it, when I purify myself, I'm okay. But I would be fine by that if I would not notice that so many people that I've talked to said the same thing. They said, I just can't work at my job. I had so many troubles just getting myself together, and I had so many negative thoughts, and then this inner critic and all of this. And then Maya said same thing, and Maya's friends few said the same thing. So I wanted to ask you, are you feeling that too? Are you feeling that too? Because, well, one purpose with this video is to help you to navigate through it, because for me I found ways to work with it and to get myself back into the center, to understand that I am not my thoughts, I am the observer. And well, many of you know these things, but when we really find ourselves in these dark cycles, in these negative cycles, we say, here we go again. There's a way we choose to work with it, because there's the old you that will fall back into the old negative cycles where, well, firstly you may start thinking all these negative thoughts, then thoughts trigger emotions, so you start feeling negatively. And then in these negative emotions, you start to think more negative thoughts, and then your behavior starts reflecting that. You're less productive, less focused. And because you're less productive, you're also maybe less communicative. You don't want to have much contacts with people or things like that. And then it may lead into guilt or frustration. Those are usually these negative spirals that we fall in. And in case you've been feeling these days this kind of energy, well, my friend, I want to help you with that. So I've been feeling this energy, and I just don't allow myself to go into these negative spirals. I found a way in my life to work with it. And well, one way is just to observe. Because clearly when we have this kind of breakdowns, those are not just breakdowns, those are also breakthroughs. And it's like your body is pushing onto the surface. Let's slow down and let's think about your body as a being that is made out of information and energy. And well, energy is putting information together. It's like linking information together. So your body is actually a container of incredible amount of information. And some of this information are for you conscious thoughts, some of these are unconscious thoughts and like subconscious thoughts, and most of it is just unconscious for you. But when the frequency is rising, when you start changing your energy due to your spiritual work, due to your health work, self-care work, change in behavior, all of these changes you've been doing through years and all the new energy that is coming in, you start to do the same thing as the sun is doing, for example. When we have all these solar flares, what is happening? Sun is the purest body in our solar system, and it's going through cycles. And as it goes towards the end of its 11-year cycle, it starts pushing the cooler particles that are stored more in the core of the sun, according to science, it starts pushing these cooler particles out. And as it is pushing these cooler particles out, it is purifying itself. And as these particles go out, the solar flares are happening. And well, when you are going through this kind of vibrational purifications, your body is also pushing out this denser thought. So imagine higher frequencies, more light, lower frequencies, more matter. It's like if you take any kind of a thing, any object, and you start moving it in a speed of light, in a speed of light it will disappear, right? So that's how thoughts manifest. There are thoughts on higher frequency and thoughts on lower frequency. Thoughts on lower frequency have materialized. Thoughts on higher frequency are as a potential. And the purpose of growth or expansion or evolution or ascension is to change yourself into a potential that is the most beneficial for your life's experience. And because deep inside you know that you want to evolve, there are denser parts of you, denser energies, denser thoughts that need to come to the surface so you can release them. If you're constantly reacting to all this thinking, you stay in the loop. But if you observe your thinking, you acknowledge it. Once you acknowledge it, it's not controlling you anymore. It's like you turn the light onto something that was hidden and now it's not hidden anymore. So many of us may be having more darker thoughts right now, more darker negative emotions. And all we need to learn to do with it is to observe ourselves, to listen to ourselves. So most probably this video may be helpful if you've been feeling like that or not, because, well, there comes times, we all move in cycles, right? We all move in, seasons in our lives, and we have certain cycles where we feel more down. And, well, the most powerful thing we can do is that we start measuring our own energy from 1 to 10. And when we measure our energy from 1 to 10, we start noticing our patterns, because we are not patterns, but patterns are making us. When we start catching and seeing patterns, we start seeing also where they're taking us, why we are the way we are. And this is where we start expanding our awareness. This is a very rewarding inner work, because it is enlightening you. It is making you more self-aware, more aware of the life itself, and it is expanding your consciousness and raising your frequency. More you're aware, more you're enlightened, and more you understand things. So it's something you just can't fake. Like, you can't fake consciousness, you can't fake energy. It just shows the truth. So as you're going through this evolution, and when you have these darker days, firstly you need to understand that there's nothing wrong with you. But the truth is, you have this inner talks, this is ego, you have this self-critical dialogues inside of you. This is the old unhealed self, the younger unhealed self that is still talking to you about things you have observed as, well, as a little kid in your environment, about, I don't know. One very annoying voice that was so long present in me was the voice of, like, someone is judging me. And when I've started tracking the source from where this voice is coming from, I've noticed, well, when I was growing up, in my environment, people were constantly judging people who were standing out, or judging people who were doing something differently. So when I've started doing something differently according to society, I started to have this voice like someone is judging me. And that voice was very, very annoying to me. And it awakened a sense of shame, a sense of fear, a sense of frustration, and it was like a block, like it is holding me in the cage. And the way I dealt with it was that I tracked its source, and I, in my mind's eye, imagined these people, and I asked myself, is that the truth? Is that the truth, what they are doing and what they're saying? Or is this just a voice, like recycled voice that is just echoing in the society? And less we are responding and reacting to it, less it has power over us. So I've noticed that when I start catching myself not reacting to it voice, to this voice, but just saying, oh, here it is again, here you are again, and just not reacting to it, just observing it, it means you don't grab your phone, like when you have dark negative thoughts or very loud inner critic, you don't grab your phone and start scrolling. No, my friend, no. You just pause, you may close down your eyes and you just say, oh, here you are again. Here you are again. And then see how it makes you feel. And even though it may make you feel bad, you still don't need to respond to it in a way that you start going in a negative behavior. Like it's same with certain addictive behavior where like we may have a thought as an impulse, let's do it, so we would get a dopamine hit. But we say, oh, here we are again, this need to do it. But because now you can consciously decide, will you still stay on a track? Will you do something else? Will you, just rather pull yourself out of reacting through awareness and just start doing some small tasks of something you set yourself to do. Like, so today when I was feeling like that, I've noticed, well, okay, I'm feeling a bit down, I have these dark thoughts, but I already know I'm not that. Maybe I'm in a season of this, maybe tomorrow will be gone, maybe I just need a good sleep. And I've asked myself, what can I do? Like certain tasks I can start taking care of, so I can put myself into a momentum. So I've started editing my studio a little bit, and suddenly it was gone, and I put myself back into alignment, and suddenly I've started to feel completely fine. So I've noticed it's actually very easy. It's hard maybe if you're living in a very noisy world, but when you have these moments where dark thoughts come and all these negative emotions arise, just remind yourself that it's not you, it's that voice again. Here you are. Track its origin, because, well, somewhere you've accumulated these thoughts, these voices, these perceptions of other people, and of course you most probably don't want to be judged, you don't want to be, I don't know, pushed aside or whatever, so you have fears attached to it. But it's the understanding that heals fear, right? We only are scared of what we don't understand. So if you're, for example, scared of someone laughing at you or someone judging you, you must understand from where these people are coming, and to really see what in them is speaking or judging you. Because when I now think about these people from my childhood, I see hurt little kids in old bodies. And when I see that, it makes me laugh almost, and therefore I'm not like triggered by it anymore. And I found it just something that works for me. I don't know about you, but well, if you have these moments of this kind of dark cycles, because just yesterday I was talking with a friend of mine who had quite a rough time recently for actually a few days. And well, when we were talking about it, we noticed it's not some incredible wisdom that you need. It's just sit down with yourself, listen, and then track its origin so you can understand where this part of you is coming from. Because you've been through a lot and there's many things you've forgotten about your past, but that inner critic is tracking the worst possible things, so it would keep you alive and away from negative emotions, from scary experiences, because it's already been through it. And what it requires is a hug from you. It requires some kind care from you. So then the next phase obviously is to become this kind of a friend, a mentor to that part of you that has been through a lot. And once again, you can sit with yourself, you can imagine yourself, whatever you know, at whatever stage of your life you see yourself as the origin where you've started containing this kind of thoughts, this kind of dialogues, this kind of criticism, this kind of all possible dark stories that you may be hearing in your mind. And just imagine going you right now to that younger you and be a mentor to you, be a good friend. Because yesterday I said to my friend, and it really clicked to him, I said to him, like, imagine that a friend of yours would come to you with this kind of language, with this kind of negative thinking. What would you say to him? Would you just ignore him and go on your phone, or would you actually try to talk with him? And something I've been doing for many years, I've been just writing this kind of thoughts down. I have actually one whole journaling block just about my negative thoughts and my fears and struggles I've been going through. Because when I write down exact thoughts that I think and then read them, it's like a whole another, you see it in a different way. And then you're like, am I really thinking that? Even at the moment of writing, you're like, am I really thinking that? And you start laughing at yourself. So that's how automatic these thoughts are. Even if you think you're aware of them, you're not until you see them in front of you. And that's something I found very powerful. So I wanted to share this message with you because I'm sure many of you may have this kind of days. And well, I feel it's important to be transparent, to be open, to be honest, because together we grow, right? Together we lift each other up, and this is the way I deal with it. So if I break it down once again, listen to yourself. You're not your thoughts and you're not your patterns. Most of the day you're running a pattern, but you are not a pattern. You're always an observer in the present moment. That's all you are. Everything else is a pattern, and most behaviors are actually motivated by these automatic patterns that you've developed and accumulated through time. So you are an awareness. When there is this kind of negative self-talk, observe it, and track its origin so we can understand it. Because once you understand it, you're not scared of it anymore. So you're an awareness. Now observe your negative self-talk or inner critic or whatever it is, self-loathing, whatever it is. Sit with it and then write it down. Write it down. Because it will help you to see these thoughts more clearly. Like you will laugh at yourself. Am I really thinking these things? And then be a friend to you. Be a friend to you. Befriend yourself. Because, well, there are parts of you. You've been through years, through aging, through a lot. You've been through a lot. And there were times when you would need a mentor, a wise mentor you became today, right? So maybe you don't need someone outside of you to tell you what to do. Maybe you just need to be that wise man or woman and go into your childhood and be that guide for the part of you that still requires healing. People call it the inner child healing, and I feel it's very powerful. It's not something to go to extremes and do it every day and just, constantly be on a healing path or healing journey. It's like, do it at times when you have really hard time, and then you will notice how much less these dark days truly affect you, and how much easily you then go to the next phase where you just set tasks for you and you move on with your day, not distracting, not running away, but just moving on with a greater self-kindness and compassion, understanding that, well, not every day you are at a peak state, right? Not every day you need to be very strong and tough. Sometimes it's just enough to go through the day, to come through the day, and at the end of the day, say to yourself, well, I'm proud of myself, right? So not every day you need to be tough and strong and focused and positive and whatever. It's everything. You are everything. You're a complex being, and, well, honor yourself in all this complexity. You're growing into a very, very beautiful thing. So yeah, honor yourself, my friend. I hope you found this valuable. So once again, you're an awareness. You are an awareness. Observe yourself. Observe the thoughts when they arise, the inner critic when it arises. Write it down. If it's something very annoying, write it down. Then be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Like, hug that younger you and be a mentor to you. And then set tasks for the day and move on, whatever it is. If it's at your job and you find it very tough time, take 5 minutes, deep breaths, slow deep breaths, and just reflect a little bit. Observe yourself. You can take 5 minutes, right? If it's like some crazy stuff happening at your family, take 5 minutes off, 10 minutes off, close yourself into a room or go outside for a walk and just reflect, because then you will also know how to resolve certain trouble that's present in your life. Very powerful and useful. So I hope you found this helpful today. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. Till next time, one love.